Ready for a high meditation on magic and miracles this morning. So last night was pretty fucking cool. Yes, I curse. I'm a yoga meditation instructor. I teach all about spirituality, and I still drop the F-bomb when it's necessary. Sometimes when it's not too, but last night was pretty fucking cool. I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a call all week long for 1 million people to sit down and meditate together at 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. And normally I'm in bed and asleep by 10, but last night I put on a not so magical show, Van Helsing. I knew that would keep me awake, and vampires and death and violence. Typically not something that I watch, but I'm a little bit hooked. It's like one of those pandemic shows that is so like not real that it helps me not to, dwell on what's going on here. But yeah, so I had my little alarm set, sat down 10:45, and I opened up live stream for those of us that didn't know, really, like they wanted to meditate, but they didn't know how to get into it. They didn't know the instructions. So this is what happened. This whole post went viral, not mine, but the post about 1 million people getting together to meditate, to bring light to shine on all of this darkness that we're experiencing right now. And on that same webpage, they gave 5 instructions of what it is that we needed to do as a unified front of spiritual warriors. The spiritual warrior does not fight with weapons. The spiritual warrior does not fight with fists. The spiritual warrior does not fight at all, because the spiritual warrior is one that understands and knows that we are beings of light, and knows where that light comes from, which is source, which is, everything that we see, and that everything that is not light is a figment of our imagination. It's an agreed upon figment of imagination amongst all of sentient beings, but it's still a figment of imagination. And so there was these 4 instructions, all about how to visualize and draw that awareness of light into yourself, and then shine all together, like 1 million people. I don't know how many people actually did. I'd love to see a way for us to know who actually did it, but every single live stream that I saw when I signed off after the 20-minute meditation was people in Colombia, in Austria, in New York, in California, like just finishing their meditation and talking about what their experience was. It was so fucking cool. And my own experience, being that I was guiding most of it, there's only about like 5-10 minutes at the end that I just like sat with everyone that was signed in, all like 40 people. Was pretty cool, because there's a few of the meditations that I've done over these 3 weeks. I'll answer questions at the end, Sean. There's a few meditations that I've done over the course of these last 3 weeks that the visuals and the ideas that came to me were very out of the spectrum of what I intended to teach. It just kind of was like, this is what you're doing today. And it was so in a line with those 5 instructions that I was just like, oh, that's so cool. I prepared for this. I know how to teach this. I know how to guide this, because we've already done it. And it was easier for me to kind of like access that internal light and remember who I am. So why am I bringing that up when it comes to miracles and magic, when I want to talk about miracles and magic today? It's okay. Because when we think of miracles, we're always kind of first looking outwardly, right? We're always like, when we pray for a miracle, we're praying that God or energy or the universe, whatever, if you're an atheist, science will just magically change something to our own will. Now, we've heard reports and we've seen that some of these things, it's possible. It is very possible, but the real miracle, and you'll learn this if you ever study the Course in Miracles or any books based upon it, the real miracle, the real magic, it's a real thing. The word miracle, if we break it down, there's the word mira in it, and in Spanish, that means to see. And the way the Course in Miracle explains it, and all the lessons that you do, the 365 lessons that we do, it's being able to see themes differently, to see themes through the loving eyes of awareness, through that ultimate divine compassion that does not see themes as darkness and light, that there's no such thing as darkness. It's something that we have created in order to intentionally separate ourselves from who we really are, to separate ourselves from home, from the Father, from the Creator, from God, from whatever. And this meditation that we did last night was to remind us that it's impossible to separate. We think that we're separated. We think that we are an us and a them. We think that there's all these things that are happening because the earth needs it to happen, because God needs it to happen, that all of these bad things that are happening are just a part of the divine plan, which I don't know. I'm not saying that that's not true. What I am saying is the judgment, the perception that we have about it, that it's intended to make us suffer, that we are guilty of the separation, we're guilty of wronging, like this deep inherent feeling that there's some sort of original sin that we're born with, original karmas that are sinful that we have to cleanse ourselves of. Every single religion teaches that. What the Course in Miracle teaches us is all of that is man-made. All of that is like analytical man. That's like ego-made, the body, made. That it's not source-made. Source simply is. It's just light. And if everything is coming from light, stardust, the cosmos, everything originates from light, then darkness must be part of our imagination. Because what happens, this is why spiritual warriors don't have to fight. When you remember who you are, you remember that all you are is light. That even when you close your eyes to meditate, even if you're in a dark friggin' room with no candlelight, with nothing, somehow it's not just this deep wellness of this deep void of pure pitch black that just sucks you into a void, right? When you close your eyes, in the back of the eyelids, there's still some glimmers of colors and figures and all of these projections being experienced in this awareness, which leads me to understand, I'm not what I see. I'm not what I see in the mirror. I'm not what I see in my life. I'm not what I see in this body. This body is my vehicle that I take very good care of because I want it to last me for a long time and do wonderful, powerful things. I am that awareness, and that awareness is shining light wherever I direct it. So if I shine it on myself with that loving, understanding, compassion, then even in these moments of deep, deep solitude, where old triggers are coming up, I can look at those and understand that's not me. I am the loving awareness. That's who I want to be. That's what I willed myself to be. That's what Creator, Source, God made me from, cut from the same cloth of that loving awareness. And so last night, to have all of these kind of downloads being experienced, I know it wasn't just experienced by myself because I was watching different testimonials from people, to see it being experienced all across the world, like that is magic to me. That is a miracle, that it wasn't, a bunch of people all tuned into the same live stream channel, that it was people tuned in to a deeper connection that goes beyond 5G, that goes beyond technology, a deeper technology that we all have within us to be able to sit down, connect with each other with the same intention, which is to remind ourselves that this is all a fucking dream. And we have this opportunity right now to allow ourselves to gradually wake up to the light. That we are in this new shift, this new phase, this new era of this dream where a lot of us we're waking up. And even those of us that didn't want to wake up, we're going, okay, it's time to wake up, everybody. So let's start small, start in the comfort of your home. And as you wake up to the comfort of your home, if you wake up to all of the possibilities that are held within these four walls, then it gets easier for us to wake up when we go outside. Easier for us to wake up when we start interacting with others. Easier to find those energies that match ours, to find that light that's shining as brilliantly and wants to shine on the rest, and help to co-create a new dream that we can wake up from and return to source. And that sounds kind of scary to some people, the idea of waking up and realizing that all of this reality is all in our heads. But that's okay. It's okay to have that attachment. It's okay to have an affection still for the ego and for the reality. That shows you something. That shows you that you've got grit. That shows you that you don't want to abandon your creation. So if you don't want to abandon your creation, why do we think that our creator, our source, that loving energy that feels to somehow guide us through these times would ever abandon us? It wouldn't. It can't. It couldn't. And to feel that last night, to feel people across the globe sitting in solidarity together, having all of these aha moments, even people that have never done a meditation before, that's a miracle, man. It doesn't need to be, someone places their hand on someone and heals them, but it's a amen. It's a sign that amongst everything that's going on, the biggest virus of all, the virus of fear, the thing that spreads faster than anything you can possibly imagine, that this loving awareness that we're all cultivating by sitting down and allowing ourselves just to be present and vulnerable with ourselves, with our own mind, with our own ego, that's the light, man. That's the cure for it. To have that loving awareness, to actually be like, okay, I've got all this time, I guess I'll start making all those recipes I thought about making instead of going to instead of going to the store and buying processed food, instead of going to buy fast food. Now, some of us are still doing that. That's cool, that's fine, but there's awareness. There's like this new thing, we're on the phones all the time, like reading about all the things we can do to boost our immune system. And there's been people talking about this for hundreds of years of what we need to do. But now it's like in your face, like, hey, you don't want to get sick anymore? You don't want to feel terribly in your body? You don't want to feel terribly at work? You don't want to feel terribly in your relationships and your friendships and your marriages and your family? Here's some space for you to figure out how to remember who you are. Here's some space for you to figure out and remember what you like to do, what you need to do. And as I've been teaching for the last, it's been like 3 years, the different qualities of all of these energetic centers, I've learned that these are not just energetic centers with all this mysticism around them. I've learned that there are emotional centers, and now I've learned the biology and the neuroscience behind why they're emotional centers and how it coincides with the experience that we have of emotions, of life, of relationships, and how we can navigate this map of the 7 different chakras throughout our day to help us move forward. And for me, that's a miracle as well. We have a miracle of like, here's a map. Here's a guidebook. It's literally right underneath your nose, starts with your breath, and it's going to start right down where you're actually making contact with the earth beneath you, right where you make contact with the dream. And so the first one is our root chakra. This is everything that we need to do to survive. So when we go about our day, and I was doing this yesterday, okay, what is it that I need to do to make a little bit extra cash and to make sure that Kiki and I have food, water, shelter, and to make sure that I'm still contributing to my community? What are those need tos? Got those done by noon. Next one, second chakra. As much as we like to think that it's all about sex, there's a lot of people that are very spiritual, like, guess what? They don't want to have sex anymore, not because they're like deciding not to, but it's because this second chakra, it's not about sex. Sex is the easiest indulgence that we like. Everybody likes it. Everybody likes that gratification. The second chakra is about your emotional ideas of what you like and you don't like, your memories, your conditioned responses, and like being able to break through everything that we think we like because we've been told that we like it. We think we like because we've been told, we've had the experience of doing something and had a painful memory attached to it, and being able to like shift around and entertain and observe these things and go like, yeah, but what's the thing that I do that makes me get lost in passion? And so that's the second chakra. First one, vitality. Second one, passion. That passion is like the fluidity to get lost into a moment of pleasure and bliss. Understandable, right? Why people would relate that to sex, right? But there's lots of other moments, like chocolate. I don't know. That sometimes is better. Third chakra is purpose. Like, okay, how do I keep on going with this? How do I keep that fire under my ass, that fire in my belly, and process all the other stuff so that I keep on doing the things that I need to, so I keep on doing the things that I love, and so that I actually feel like I've got some space here, that I'm holding this space, that I'm clearing this space. The element of the third chakra is fire. How am I clearing this space so I can create new fertile soil, right? So I can plant more seeds of everything that I really, really love doing and everything that I really need to do. And then we've got the fourth area of the map, which is the heart. Heart chakra, chakra of love, right? Chakra of a love that we could not possibly quite understand in this very human body, because most of our love, if not all of our love, is very conditional. But the fourth chakra is the bridge between our earthly dream and our heavenly awareness. And it is where we release all of those grievances, all of those conditions that we place on love. So no, this is not about your life partner. If you happen to have a life partner that you have unconditional love for, fucking awesome. Like 10 out of 10, I love it. But most people don't have that experience. Like there's the condition of, oh, they're attractive, oh, they treat me this way, oh, they treat me that way. There's not an unconditional love experience there. And so we learn how to let this love, because this is the element of air, be expansive and malleable, and be willing to move around without discernment. Not only without judgment, but without discernment, without selecting, letting all of that shine for everyone. That opens up that gateway, opens up that bridge, so that we can then get to the expression chakra. Now, very often we think, oh, expression chakra is blocked. That means I need to speak my truth. And we saw a lot of that over the last 3 weeks of everyone posting all of the stuff that they think is going on, what they think is happening, and why they think it's happening, and even myself, just lots of blah, 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 blah. But one thing that's very special about this part of the map is this is about listening. This is directly related to your ears. So listening not only to the sounds around you, but when we get into it at a deeper level, is actually listening to what your truth is. And if you're still carrying a bunch of grievances in your heart, if you still don't know why you're here, or if you have any purpose here, if you still don't, are just regurgitating what everyone else has told you to like, and if you are struggling to survive because you don't have your grasp on what needs to be done, then that's what's coming out of your throat chakra. That's what you hear all the time. So it's really important that we follow this little map, right? That we connect with all of these different emotions and ideas. And then when you truly listen to truth, this is the element of space, of ether. So there's two qualities that space has. In the dream, it's a vacuum. So you're pulling things in. In time-space continuum, there is no time. So it's just a realm of possibility where actively we can begin to create, where words could not possibly define what that truth is. So what do? The first thing that we learned to do with expression was not to speak. It was to express. To express with our hands, to to express with our facial features, to allow that feeling of peace that we now have because we've brought balance to the rest, to shine out like a light that comes from within. And then moving on, all the rest of this starts to become spontaneous. We get to the third eye, so that's like right in between the ears, right behind the eyebrow center. If you've seen the new iPhone 11 Pro with the 3 different camera lenses, you can get an understanding of why this is the sensorial experience that gives you deeper depth, gives you a new perspective, gives you a more dimensional understanding of knowledge of what really is, rather than just looking at the past and looking at the future and trying to piece together those things to figure out what's going on in the present. Third eye, you start in the present with your 3 scopes of vision, 2 that take light in, 1 that sends light out. That's the third eye, taking that internal light that we were cultivating last night, shining it out so we can see the unity of these 2 things. And then with light shining on all of the darkness around us, darkness never existed in the first place. There's only pure knowledge and awareness of what truly is. And then the 7th chakra. 7th chakra, the Sahasrara. Hi, Chino. Sahasrara chakra, the chakra of connection. The chakra that opens up to the possibility of enlightenment. Most of us in this lifetime, we're not going to get to enlightenment. Maybe we will. Maybe this whole shift is going to guide us to that on a much quicker journey. But for the most part, we're living very worldly lives and we're still sorting out everything that's going on in the rest of the map. And so, 7th chakra is more about self-realization. Realizing who you really are. That you're not 35 years old, you're not male or female, you're not your job, you're not your money, you're not your bank account, you're not your dog's owner, as much as Kiki would like to think that. She's very cute over there in her little thing. Yeah, as much as she like to think that, you know, my identity is her, although sometimes I think that too. That we are that loving awareness. And that if I'm loving awareness, and you're loving awareness, and he's loving awareness, and she's loving awareness, if we're all that same loving awareness, then guess what? We're all unified. There is no us and them, which means there is no separation, there is no space, there is no time. This is all being experienced in this very present moment of right now, this very generous moment of right now. Everything else is just a thought that exists only in the darkness behind our eyelids. And so if we keep on shining that light, and then right above this 7th chakra, there's this other space up here. This other space that's right above us, that when we bring our awareness into it, after we've opened up all of these channels and we're ready for that Kundalini Shakti awakening, for that high consciousness awakening, and we actually can look at ourselves and relieve ourselves of all of our grievances and all of our guilt, we can open up and feel ourselves worthy of returning home, of returning to truth, of returning to just being loving awareness, rather than being our ego, rather being our personality, rather being our character. And it doesn't even take muscling our way through the moment to moment as we're practicing these things. It just is in our inherent nature, because it is our inherent nature. Our nature is to be loving and kind, to be compassionate, to want to help people. I mean, for God's sakes, even the president, who, I don't talk about politics, but I've been watching him for the last 3 days, and something's shifted even for him, where there's a softness. He's grieving the country. He's grieving the connection. Things are changing. And it's not to say that it's not going to be hard, because not everyone's changing and shifting at the same milestone of the journey. But there's more than just hope at the end of the tunnel. There's promise. And the promise at that end of the tunnel is that there was never a tunnel to begin with. or waking up from the dream. So I thank you for being a part of that. I thank you to everyone that sat and listened to me talk for almost 30 minutes. I was really excited to get started today. I had all this stuff. So let's meditate. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Exhale from the mouth. Turn your palms facing up. And if you feel compelled to do so, turn the corners of your mouth to the hint of a smile. That little feeling you get when the corners of the mouth turn to the hint of a smile, that emotional sensation that washes through the body, it's not just emotional, that's a spiritual reminder of what loving awareness feels like. So we can try to define love, we can try to define awareness, but it's something that needs to be experienced to really understand it. So the corners of the mouth and maybe even the corners of the eyes turn to the hint of a smile. Let's open our practice with 3 Oms. Take a deep breath in. Bring your hands to the tops of the thighs. Allow your body to become still. The more still the body, the more unreactive, unresponsive to external stimuli. The deeper our conscious awareness can set into the practice. Bring your attention to the very tip of your tailbone, to the pelvic floor. And visualize a bright red light, glowing, shining. Breathing in, feel the light expand. Breathing out, feel the light seep through the skin. Touching the world around you with that divine awareness. The awareness that we are provided for, we have everything we need. Draw that attention up about 3 or 4 inches, right below the belly button, in between the hip bones. And allow that light to become orange. With that loving awareness growing brighter with each inhale and touching the world around you with each exhale. Aware that things are perfect exactly as they are. That this experience is a magical miracle to be indulged in. Orgasmic in its making. Bring your awareness now up right behind the belly button, maybe 1 or 2 inches higher, almost to where you can feel the diaphragm breathing. And allow that light to become yellow, shining bright like the yellow of the sun with each inhale, touching the world around you with the yellow of a mango with each exhale. The loving awareness that you are meant to be here. You are worthy of being here. We are worthy of being here. we have purpose and intention. Whether we know what it is or not, it's there. Guide that awareness up through the spine into the center of the heart space, right behind the sternum, to where you can feel the heart breathing, to where you can feel the breath split off into the two bronchi, feeling that expansive experience clearing with a bright pink light on the inhale. That fades to a green light, touching the world around you on the exhale. Knowing that there's no need to forgive anything as soon as we understand that there was no wrongdoing. Just doing, just dreaming. That being angry at someone or angry at yourself is the same as being angry at someone for something they did in a dream. Yes, emotionally it may trigger some experiences and memories and reactions, but it's a dream. Knowing that whether we believe it or not, the intention behind every sentient being is to show loving awareness. And truly the intention is what matters the most, because it is the light. To be able to see ourselves, our own loving awareness in all who we meet, and that all the things that we think are deserved grievances, things that need to be forgiven or don't need to be forgiven, anything we hold on to, pain and suffering we are inflicting on ourselves. For he is me and I am she. Guiding that awareness up to the pit of the throat, right underneath the Adam's apple, feeling the breath move in and out of the body. Understanding that now the vacuum of space, that idea, that concept is also a concept of time, because the vacuum in one moment moves in one direction and then gets drawn out in the other direction. And without the construct of time, there is just simply possibility, where we can sit and listen to what exists in that spontaneous realm of creativity. Allowing a bright blue light to shine. Brighter on each inhale, touching every limb of the body with the expression of truth on each exhale. Guiding the awareness even further up to the space in between the eyebrows, behind the eyebrow center, between the ears. The seat of conscious awareness, where a bright indigo blue flame burns, shining its light on the world around you in this present moment, where all thoughts of past and future are simply part of the dream. And we can sit illuminated with the light of the truth we hold within us, the truth of who we are and where we came from loving awareness. That anything that is seen through something other than the eyes of love is a perception of the dream. It is not the reality of what truly is. And without even the guidance needed, feeling that crown of the head open, opening that seat of our consciousness up to break the seal of separation between us and those around us, to feel that interconnected, super conscious experience, collective conscious understanding, faith, and gratitude. With a bright white beam of light shining through every star in the cosmos, through every galaxy, from the very center source of light, the heart of the galaxy, shining brightly through every single cell of your body. Begin to mentally repeat Om Namah Shivaya. 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 With this white light illuminating all of the neural centers, all of the sacred chakras, and their perspective lights with their perspective experiences shining brightly through, from below as is above, from above as is below. Shining with the light of eternal peace, of infinite joy, of omnipresent loving awareness. Om Namah Shivaya. And as we settle into the frequency, the vibration of this consciousness, we spontaneously become worthy as we were never unworthy of knowing who we are, knowing our purpose, knowing what we are, of knowing how to let go of the dream, of knowing which thoughts are truth coming from divine source and which thoughts are of fear coming from ego and separation. Allowing the miracle of true healing, healing our relationship with ourself. Granting this same healing, this same blessing to all sentient beings, to all life forms, to awaken to their truth, to their bliss, to their freedom from all of the suffering. Bring the palms together at the heart. And let's close our practice with the Loka mantra, mantra for peace and freedom for all. If you know it, sing along with. If you don't, it's okay. Just listen. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you all so much. Thank you for your patience. It's been a long session today, but I appreciate you all. I appreciate your presence, even those of you that are in and out. It's like I'm just so happy to be able to share with you guys still. So much love to all of you. Namaste, Hari Om Tat Sat, and Aho.